From the campus of Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia, this is MU Report.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for another edition of MU Report Fall 2022. I'm Bella Robinson.
And I'm Chase Matheny.
MU Report is a student-produced newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. You can catch this broadcast anytime on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, on to our top story.
MU Report begins with some unsettling news about the number of people going to school here. Marshall University reached its peak enrollment in 2010 with more than 14,000 students. But since then, the number has fallen significantly and projected to keep dropping. As Elena Laster reports, new president Brad Smith has a plan he says should help reverse that trend.
How many students do you think are enrolled here at Marshall?
I think it's a little bit more than 1,000 students. There's a pretty good number of students here.
I don't know, probably like 4,000, maybe.
I'm gonna go like lowball 1,000.
The number we're looking for is 10,735. Over the years, student enrollment has decreased heavily, so much so that some have no idea how many students are even enrolled at Marshall.
So we've lost 22% of our student population in the last 12 years. We have been declining about 4% per annum, but we see a path to actually turn that around as we begin to think about serving different kinds of students.
The Strategic Enrollment Management Initiative was born in the spring of 2022. It hopes to help increase enrollment by targeting recruitment of different groups of students.
It gives us an opportunity to move our mindset from admissions to recruitment. And the second is to begin to go beyond thinking about just high school seniors to go after 10 different student groups.
For the initiative to be successful, the university plans to reevaluate the way they offer classes.
Sometimes we'll have to change when the class is offered. Sometimes we'll have to change how it's offered. It may be online, it may be in a classroom, or it may be recorded so they can watch it at night. And it gives us an entire new thought process on strategic enrollment management and the end-to-end experience the student expects.
Student enrollment is expected to hit an all-time low in 2025 with the lowest number of graduating high school students. Despite this fact, President Smith hopes to increase the number of students enrolled at Marshall to what it once was. Elena Laster, MU Report.
2, 1. The reason the enrollment is so important is paying students literally keep the doors open by providing the money for salaries and operations. And almost every year, lawmakers in Charleston have reduced taxpayers' contributions to education effort.
Changing subjects here, the university is once again stressing the need to be boosted against the ever-changing coronavirus. Cases across campus have fallen as more students get the vaccine. Marshall students can still receive the coronavirus vaccine for free at the Cabell Huntington Health Department, Cabell Huntington Hospital, and on campus. Public health officials urge students to do so with the cooling weather.
Extracurriculars and classes happening and the mask mandate being down, I think it's important for students to keep getting vaccinated to keep the community safe as well as themselves.
The university coronavirus information website is updated each Thursday to inform students and their families about the infection and vaccination rates in the area. Marshall recently began offering the bivalent booster at its vaccination locations. However, some students still feel out of the loop when it comes to information surrounding the virus.
I like that we have a place on campus to get vaccinated, but I definitely wish there were several locations, not just in the MSC. I don't know if there are other locations, but if there are, they aren't advertised very well.
Marshall currently does not require students, faculty, and staff to wear masks on the main campus. However, there are still masks available in vending machines, in student affairs, and Drinko Library. Students are also encouraged to stay up to date with the mask recommendation status on campus.
Me personally, I'd recommend wearing a mask, but I think as long as you're vaccinated and you practice, reasonably safe distancing and personal hygiene, I think it'll be okay.
Students can still receive vaccines at the Memorial Student Center from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. during the weekdays, at the Cabell County Health Department, as well as at Cabell Huntington Hospital. Isabella Robinson, MU Report.
So, Bella, you're saying students shouldn't stop at the initial vaccine?
That's right. With no mask or vaccine mandate, students are really responsible for their own health. And the CDC says those boosters really help.
Marshall students have no doubt noticed major work going on at the Student Center Memorial Fountain. Workers are repairing and refreshing the tribute to the plane crash victims just in time for the yearly memorial service. Marshall students who have walked to class this semester have likely seen renovations being done to the memorial fountain outside the Student Center. The university wanted new granite tile and to give the outside a facelift by repolishing it.
And taking some of the chips out of the stone and stuff like that got on there through the years, and yeah, it'll be a big improvement.
Marshall hasn't updated the fountain since 2008, and not only are they laying new granite tile, but they are also pouring concrete, which can be a bit of a process, says Hilbert. The renovation started in mid-September, and Marshall says they want the project done by homecoming.
We've been working on the fountain about 2.5 weeks now. We've got another 2 weeks to go. We've got to be done by homecoming, which is the end of the month, I guess.
Marshall needs the fountain up and running by homecoming because it's just 2 weeks before the anniversary of the plane crash, in which the fountain will be turned off until the following spring. Renovations to the fountain are super important because it's such a sacred piece to the community and the university. Chase Matheny, MUR Report.
The fountain is a pleasant memorial to the 75 lives lost during the 1970s Marshall plane crash.
Yes, and it's great to see the cleanup that's going on at the fountain.
Just like any other university, Marshall has a campus-wide network that occasionally has problems. But as Grace Hewitt reports, Marshall's IT team says improvements in connectivity and reliability are happening every day.
Wi-Fi is one aspect students here at Marshall look to in helping them succeed, but students say lately it's been a little hard.
Issues with Respondus testing with lockdown browsers. I've been kicked out a couple times. Other than that, it's just pretty slow, so I'll just connect to my personal hotspot on my phone or something.
When facing challenges with the Wi-Fi, students are wanting to know how they can get a better connection in general and want to learn what they can do on their part.
I live off campus, so I do a lot of my work at home just to avoid any problems that I might run into on campus. I'd say go to the library and use a computer in the library because I've never had any problems with that. But if you use your personal devices, then you could run into problems.
Marshall IT recognizes that students may have connectivity issues and has some suggestions that may help to fix some Wi-Fi problems.
So as users move across campus with their mobile devices, especially laptops, telephones, they jump from one access point to another. So sometimes your device has trouble connecting back, and the easiest fix for that is to turn your Wi-Fi off and then turn it right back on again, and you'll connect to the closest access point.
Marshall University's IT department in Drinko Library is here to serve students with any questions they may have. Grace Hewitt, MU Report.
The IT team troubleshoots Wi-Fi problems every day, so if you're having issues, contact the service desk and schedule an appointment in the Drinko Library office.
It's the homecoming season on campus, and this year a big change is present. To be more inclusive, the winners of homecoming, who used to be called Mr. and Miss Marshall, will be now referred to as homecoming royalty instead, and Calvin Staten explains why.
Marshall University has always put diversity and acceptance of others at the forefront, and that continues to ring true within the homecoming court.
Personally, I think it's great. I think it's about time. I mean, change is always good. I wish that we would have done this probably a little sooner, especially because, our whole marketing strategy is that we're a family, we're inclusive. We have so many people from different backgrounds, we have a lot of diversity here on campus.
With the way our society and culture have both shifted within the last decade, it was only a matter of time until a change was made for the betterment of the student body.
Royalty is supposed to represent our campus, and it should be just as diverse as what our student body is. I know that this year we have one running as MX, and Taylor is wonderful. I've become really good friends with Taylor over the course of just us campaigning. We have very similar platforms, and getting to work with them was fantastic.
The change from Mr. and Mrs. Marshall to the homecoming royalty is sure to open up new avenues for diversity and inclusivity in the future. Calvin Staten, MU Report.
The women's basketball team tips off its season this month starting at Purdue. As Rick Elmore reports, the season will be filled with plenty of new faces in a new conference.
The 2022-2023 basketball season will mark the inaugural season in the Sun Belt Conference for the Marshall women's basketball team. Head coach Tony Kemper said the new league is working just as hard to promote the women's game as it does for men's basketball and football.
I think from a league perspective, we're really excited to move into the Sun Belt and see the things they're doing to improve what is already a strong product in basketball.
Picked by the league's coaches to finish 10th in the standings, the Thundering Herds newcomers this season include 6 transfers and 4 freshmen to replace those who left the program at the conclusion of last season. The new team members include Logan, West Virginia freshman Peyton Ilderton, Division II All-American Abby Beeman, who transferred from Shepherd University, and graduate senior Kendall Miller, who comes to Marshall after spending 4 years at the University of Akron.
It's been great, honestly. We got a great group of girls. We work hard. There's a lot of energy in the gym. I love the coaching staff. They really spark us and get us going every day, so I love it, honestly.
With all the new faces, the challenge facing the team isn't lost on its head coach, who said he's eager to prove the doubters wrong.
We have a different team. We lost a lot of people with a lot of experience through graduation, and we have loaded up with a lot of people that have experience. They just don't have experience at Marshall.
It's not all new faces with the Herd, however. There's also returning players, too. Senior Kia Civils and sophomore CeCe Mays bring experience to the backcourt from last season, while redshirt sophomore Mahogany Matthews returns this season after missing all last year due to injury. From the Cam Henderson Center with the women's basketball team, I'm Rick Elmore, MU Report.
And other big news in women's sports, for the first time, the athletic department is offering season tickets to see the women's basketball team.
That's all the time we have for this edition of MU Report. Our newscast content is generated by students in the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. MU Report is a television lab, and we are glad you're watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube, and be sure to follow our reporters on Twitter and MU Report on Facebook. I'm Chase Matheny.
And I'm Bella Robinson. Have a great day.